What is up, racers? And welcome back to another episode of our F1 2021 My Team Career Mode, episode number 14 today for the Singapore Grand Prix of Season 1. If you missed our previous video at the Russian Grand Prix, then be sure to check that one out before you see this one. Another Russian Grand Prix where we screwed up, exactly like 2020, breaking our front wing and compromising our race. But anyway, we got to look ahead to Singapore, a track that, well, if you remember from last year, was a terrible race for us, our first retirement in the F1 series, and hopefully we don't repeat that again this episode, because Singapore is actually a good track to drive around for me. But anyways, as you can see, we negotiated some team activities, put some sponsors back on the car, and our minor front downforce upgrade fails. We have to reinvest in that. We're also going to invest into a major weight reduction upgrade for the engine cover. Basically, we're just improving the car bit by bit so that this Toyota can eventually fight at the top. We got a durability upgrade for the MGU-K, I believe, and this was the MGU-H that we invested in, and other upgrades. We have a lot of upgrades we have in store. As you can see, we're about the 8th best team on the grid. We lost the place to AlphaTauri. It's crazy to see Alfa Romeo that far up the order, though. But anyways, advancing the timeline, just some activity events coming through, and here we are into the race, and well, no weather report, but we go to the race, and there's not going to be only going to be rain during qualifying, but rain during the race. It's going to be a mixed condition race and qualifying, which is going to spice things up for sure. As we head on to practice 1, and our Toyota doesn't look very good. We're very close on pace to Sato, which, if you're a longtime viewer of the series, knows that's not necessarily a good thing. Practice 2 is indicative of nothing, because we actually waited until the rain came so we can get some wet weather running and know the breaking points for qualifying. So, of course, we're going to be dead last since everyone put in dry runs, but as you can see, we skipped practice 3 for some reason. I don't know why I didn't record the results, but anyways, practice doesn't really matter. I don't even know why I showed them in the first place, and to show that I'm not going to mess up like I did in Russia and the Netherlands, I'm going to change my engine components right before qualifying, so that way I don't run a worn engine. Let's head into qualifying and see what we can do. And here we are into qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. As you can see, we're going to run our maximum downforce setup on the presets, because normally it's around a preset 2 for Singapore, but because of the rain, we're going to max the downforce. You guys notice out of the session already. That's the first time I've ever seen an AI DNF during qualifying. I wasn't able to find on a replay highlights what had happened to Tsunoda. I can tell you what happened to us. We hit our front wing against the hairpin at turn 13. So that didn't really help us. Thankfully, no front wing damage. We crossed the line, P8. Not a very good time. We're going to have to go out again on another set of soft compound tires, and unfortunately, the rain's not going to be able to bail us out this time. As you can see, it's coming a little later into Q2, so we're just going to have to affirm it. We have to get through. We're in P11 right now. Drop to P12. We're falling down the order. Let's see what we can do. Already into turns 1 and 2, we get a better entry and exit. We're up by a few tenths. We lose the time, though, through turn 3, but we get a great exit, and we're already racking up the time we lost into turn 4. No, sorry, that's turn 5. Into the kink of turn 6, and now we're speeding ahead into the complex turns 11, 12, into the hairpin of turn 13, and this time we're going to make sure we don't hit up against the wall. We're going to get very close. We're already up by around 6 tenths. So clearly that little tap against the wall, it shows just how precise you have to be and just how one little mistake can really ruin your lap. We do lose some time in the third sector, but here we go. Better run through the last corner, no understeer. We cross the line, and we're only up at the P13. We're going to see if we can improve, though, on the same set. We go for a cool down lap, and here we are. And this was our best lap of the session, obviously because everything afterwards was a wet weather running. I'll say that now. So just show you the full lap. Through turns 1, 2, and 3. Very easy to get caught up on those curbs. Very high curbs through that section. Make sure you don't hook your tire over that and lose too much time. Through turn 4, that's 5. Very, very close to the wall. And now down the DRS straight. Well, not really a straight. It's technically a turn. Through turn 6 right there. Into turn 7. Heavy braking zone. Good spot for overtaking with the DRS if you have the guts. You can kind of cross the curb there. The track limit is a little lenient out of turn 7. But now we're heading into turn 9. Yes, turn 9. Turn 10 right here. And now as we go ahead into turn 11, 12. Very tight section here. Not really many spots for overtaking. Very easy to hook your tire over the curb at turn 12. But through turn 13, a very, very hard braking zone considering the wall kind of juts out a bit. You have to be so on the nose if you want to make that corner, hit the apex. Down the second DRS straight, into turn 14 now. And now through the tight, twisting 90-degree corners of Sector 3. Another blind corner. Very hard, very easy to screw up here. We're already up by 4/10, so we lost a bit of time. Very compromised entry through turn 17, but now into 18 and 19 to go underneath one of the grandstands. And now towards 20 and 21. Very, as you can see, very technical, very almost Baku-esque, except its corners are very close. Very close to the wall on the exit there. Into turn 22 and now turn 23. We're going to see what we can do. Up by about a tenth of a second. We lost a lot of time across the line, and we solidified P13, sandwiched by 2 Alfa Romeos. So, not a great time, but we made it to Q2, and that's all we can really ask for. Sato gets eliminated, and he gets beat by Mazepin in the Haas. Mick Schumacher's actually made it into Q2. What an amazing result for the Haas driver, and someone to look out to. And Alonso also DNF'd. He didn't set up a time either, like Yuki Tsunoda. So, I mean, that's probably how Schumacher made it through into Q2. But still, a Haas in Q2 is incredible. And well, right into Q2. Sorry. We have an electrical systems fault.
Sit tight for a few minutes while we
So we gotta wait a bit. And well, unfortunately, I wasted a lot of my intermediate tires doing those practice runs. Oh, as you can see, the rain is out, and you can tell how treacherous it is. Even if practice, we completely missed our braking zone. Thankfully, we avoid the wall, and that could have been a real bad ending to qualify. As you can see here, I'm using a worn set of intermediate tires. Now, it may look bad, but we get really close to the wall there. The intermediate tires do last longer than typical slicks do, so you can get a lot of running in them and not waste the tires, but we go out on a scrub set of intermediate tires. We save our fresh set for our final run of Q2. We're going to see if we can make it out. We're going to drive out. We're going to wait till the very end of qualifying. So that way, all the cars running through the order, they're going to create a dry line on the track. And with the fresher intermediate tires, we'll get better grip, and we'll just hopefully be able to make something work. We're down in P13 again, sandwiched in the Alfa Romeos. So we've got quite a ways to go. We've got to beat at least Pierre Gasly in order to maybe have a shot. But as you can see, we're only down about like we gained 4/100ths to Gasly's time, but we're going very slow. We're not really making up any time. Here we go into turn 11, 12, and we ride the curve, and we lose the car! We hit the wall, and yeah, that's a front wing broken, and that's our qualifying run ruined. As you can see, like I said in the build-up, if you hook your tire on the curb of turn 12, not really good for you. P13 in the end. Not great. Not great at all. And Singapore is a hard track to overtake. Not impossible, but it is hard. But hopefully things will look better in the race. And in the dry, we'll be able to make up some places. Let's head to the grid and see what we can do.
Against the spectacular backdrop of the Singapore skyline, Formula One returns once again to do battle in what tends to become something of an endurance race, with the notorious sauna-like temperatures in the cockpit making for an extremely physically challenging Grand Prix. We're here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit today, located in the heart of Singapore. The circuit consists of 23 corners, 13 to the left and 10 to the right. It's a track that's incredibly technical, so don't expect to see the drivers taking too much at full throttle. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Vettel, Stroll, Gasly, Raikkonen, and the engineer, Giovinazzi, Verstappen, Lando Norris, and Russell, Sato, Latifi, Esteban Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty, and Fernando Alonso, Mazepin, Mick Schumacher, Tsunoda, and Charles Leclerc completes today's grid order. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
And here we are into the race. Not qualifying, the race. We get promoted 3 spots from our position thanks to grid penalties from the other drivers, among which notable names Charles Leclerc at the back of the grid. So he must have taken a lot of engine penalties in that moment. We're going to start on medium tires. We're going to see if we can drag it out to the wet period, but it doesn't look like the medium tires will be able to last that long considering the tire degradation. So we're probably going to switch onto a pair of softs and try to gain some places before the rain hits. But here we go to 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's lights out, and away we go. It's a decent start off the line. We got ERS. We get in the slipstream of Pierre Gasly. We're going to go down the inside into turn 1. And oh my god, we kind of cut the corner there, but Ricciardo didn't really leave us much space. We go down the inside of the McLaren into turn 3. Good exit from the apex, and we're up at the P5 already. We've made up 5 places, albeit kind of illegally, not really much space, but Sainz squeezes out Perez, and that opens up a gap for us. On the inside, we switch back the 2 drivers. We're side by side. Sainz almost puts us into the wall. We make contact. Ricciardo's coming in on the left. We're going to dive down Sainz's inside, cut the curb a little bit again. No calls by the FIA. We're already into P4. We made up 6 places in the span of a single sector. That is an amazing start for us, and miles better than the start we did in last year's game. If you remember, actually we did the exact same move down the inside, although we tried to make the corner when there really wasn't any space, and I'm not going to hide it. That was a blatant corner cut. I'm surprised the FIA didn't tell us to give the places back, but hey, we're just going to keep them because they didn't tell us to. You can see Sainz, like, we make a lot of contact with the Ferrari, like he was trying to squeeze us into the wall, which didn't really help. As you can see, look at from Ricciardo's view, you can see Sainz and Perez, they're side by side. Sainz goes wide, almost pushing Perez into the wall intentionally. And as you can see, like, the sudden stop I had to do to avoid getting squeezed into the wall disrupted Ricciardo as well. But that was a beautiful move past the Ferrari, and our Toyota is soaring into P4. Unfortunately, the tire advantage isn't really with us as we go wide into turn 13. And the reason why is because everyone else is on mediums, because the Q2 tire rule doesn't apply if it's wet weather, so everyone got a free choice of tire. But anyway, we're trying to catch up to Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, but the gap is just so big because, well, I mean, in dry conditions, the Red Bull is significantly better than our Toyota. So obviously we're not going to be good. That being said, we go purple in the first sector on lap 4, so maybe we do have some hidden pace in this car. I mean, we are aided by the additional downforce we have, because Singapore, while there is some straights, especially in the 3rd sector, downforce will be key to holding speed. As you see, oh, we get really close to that wall. That's a ballsy move. That's, yeah, geez. At the time, I didn't realize I was that close to the wall. But anyway, catching up to Perez, and we finally get into DRS range 4 laps later. So maybe, no, I mean, we're way too far to make a move. And I'll be frank, even if the maximum downforce, the Red Bull is still a better car in terms of just downforce and how light it is, nimble it is, so it's able to really navigate those corners really well. We're deploying tons of ERS and DRS on lap 9 through turn 6 into turn 7. We brake a little later. We maybe hinted at a move, but Perez, there was no space, and we would have had to go off track to make that move. As you can see, again, wide through the corner. And now, I mean, Perez has extended the gap, and we've got to be wary of Sainz, because although the Ferrari is not as good as the Red Bull, I mean, that's just going to be really, really hard for us. Here we go into lap 12, and Hamilton's already pitting. Is that a strategic mistake? In hindsight, the medium tires should last really long. I mean, honestly, I don't really feel like the tires are bad at all to get up into the podium positions in this race, which is incredible around Singapore. Every position matters. So let's try and extend the gap to those who are pitting, because if the rest of the AI pit at this time, and we can make our tires last, we'll be way up into this race. Bottas pits at the end of lap 13. Is Perez coming in? Perez is coming into the pits. So we're going to lead our first Grand Prix as a Toyota racing driver. This is amazing. I mean, albeit, they'll probably pass us if we have to pit again.
Let's hold on to this now. First place.
And Jeff is extremely excited for no reason whatsoever. I mean, he should know that this isn't really indicative of where we're actually going to finish. On to lap 15 now, a little understeery, and on lap 15, our crew is telling us to box, and Hamilton is catching us really quickly, although he pit first, and I decided to pit now. I mean, at the time, this is my logic. At the time, there was no indication that rain was coming. I was continuously asking Jeff when the rain's coming, and of course, Jeff didn't tell me anything, and the track was fine. Hamilton was going to pass us anyway because the Mercedes on better medium tires is going to be better. So I thought, you know what, the rain's going to come anyways. The tires are shot. We're going to be passed by faster cars anyways. Let's put on a set of soft tires, new soft tires, and try to gain some of the advantage back that the other cars will have in terms of pure pace. And that way, we can make up some positions before the rain hits, and then pit early for intermediate tires, and then win all those places back in the pit stop. It was very convoluted. In retrospect, the easier thing would have just been to stay out on the medium tires, hold track position, and that way just pit. Mick Schumacher's up to 11th place. Hold the phone, that is amazing.
Seem like the fastest tire at the moment.
And of course, I just asked Jeff now as I'm catching up to Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin. As you can see, the soft tires are helping us. We're catching up to him. But yellow flags in Sector 3. We're heading through. And is that a little bit of rain I see? And oh, that's Gasly in the wall! We have to swerve aside. There's debris everywhere on the track. And a safety car is deployed at Singapore. And there's the rain. Speckles of rain are dotting the camera. But let's see what happened to Gasly, who was riding high in P3. Albeit, he hadn't made a pit stop yet. And oh, he gets caught up on the curb. And oh, that's odd. And oh my god, Daniel Ricciardo. How did Ricciardo or Gasly not get terminal damage from that? Like, look at this. I mean, Gasly gets his AlphaTauri hooked up on the curb at the exit of turn 21. He does catch it, but I guess the track has some slick properties because of the rain, and he just kind of goes right into the wall. And that Ricciardo, man, that was a heavy impact.
Go away.
Yeah, oh god, I mean, look at Ricciardo's front wing. I mean, actually, and when you look at the replay, you'll see much of the debris is actually Ricciardo's wing as it goes completely disintegrated. And, I mean, Ricciardo, I mean, he was flying high, but, I mean, with the front wing change, this is not going to help him. Or Gasly.
Sorry about that.
Box, Daniel, box.
Yeah, and he missed the pit lane entry, so although he will be under safety car, he'll have to navigate a wet track without downforce. But as I go to the pits, Jeff is saying that the dry tires are good, but the rain is falling a lot heavier than the weather indicator made it out to believe. Nikita Mazepin's out of the session too. Did he crash into Gasly? I wonder if Gasly... I mean, Gasly's a 5-second penalty. Why? And was it the contact of Ricciardo? I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know how that happened. As you can see, Mazepin, underneath the grandstand, and his engine just gives up on him. So it's nothing related to Pierre Gasly's incident. So, yeah, unfortunate for the Haas driver. But yeah, I just can't get over that AI mistake. That was so bizarre.
It did not sound right. The engine did sound different, so copy, I'm getting out.
Okay, mate.
Alright, so that's Nick Mazepin's race ended. Oh, and Sato's in the pit lane though, into lap 17. Now you see,
and the dry tyre isn't capable of moving that water out of the way. Looks like we're around the crossover point for the intermediates.
there you go, and confirmation, the track is getting wet. As you can see, Singapore, around this time of year, the rain does come, and comes hard. We try to box this lap for intermediate tires, but unfortunately, it says because Sato's in the pit lane right now, they can't. But I mean, I'm just going to ignore it, because by the time we get to the pit lane, Sato will be done. We enter the pits behind Sainz, we're only in P9, and now, it's at this moment that I started to realize that I made the wrong decision to switch onto softs, because we only really got one running lap on these soft tires. So if we had just stayed on the mediums, we would have held track position, and we probably could have pit early for those intermediates, but instead we're going to lose some positions because we have to pit again. This is our second pit stop of the race, and most drivers probably only did one. As you can see, we end up in front of Daniel Ricciardo because he was on, because he has to get his front wing changed. But look at Schumacher. Schumacher flies by all of us. He's ahead of all of us. The Haas is already on the intermediate tires. So starting on the hard tires, Schumacher is showing why we made the wrong decision. Because we had stayed out, we'd have gained so much track position. And because Singapore is so hard to pass, I mean, look at this. He's in P10. Because when the safety car got called out, he was able to pit, switch immediately to the intermediates, and look at him. He's so far up the order. He's going to gain more positions as everyone ahead who didn't pit on the last lap is pitting now for intermediate. So I think Schumacher's in P4. Haas in P4. There's only going to be maybe 9 or 10 laps left of racing. So this is going to be a genius move by the Haas mechanics, and they could get some solid points in this race. I can't believe I'm saying this. In the first season of this game, that a Haas will be in the points. Vettel is right behind them. Schumacher's ahead of the Aston Martin, the AlphaTauri, Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz. So he's going to have to put up a world of a defense heading on to 10 more laps of racing. The safety car's coming in at the end of lap 20. Here we go. The green flag running in a wet Singapore. We go wide through turn 22. A terrible exit, and Sainz gets the jump on us, and Raikkonen is even threatening to take P9 from us. We have to brake. We brake earlier than we usually do because the track is very slick. And although we have been running in procession, we haven't been running fast enough probably to clear the standing water. But here we are, we're closing in on Carlos Sainz. And, well, we make up the time we lost. But unfortunately, we're going to have to really work for it. Because especially now with the rain, there's no DRS assistance. On to lap 23 now. Into turn 4. Decent exit, a little bit of understeer as we almost go into the wall. We're racing Sainz. At this point, the intermediate tires aren't gripping. So I almost have a feeling that it's time for wets, which is why I asked Jeff. But Jeff says the intermediates is fine. Although with the rainfall, like, I think if the race was a little bit longer, if there was more of the race left, we'd definitely be switching on to wets. But here we go. The ERS deploying down, into turn 6, into turn 7. We're closing in on the Ferrari. Now, different angle for you guys, trying to maybe spice things up. We're going to brake, and oh my god, there's Sainz. We have to pull an accidental dive bomb down the inside of turn 8 into turn 9. So we squeeze Sainz out, give him a bit of space, and we get the move done. Like, I did not mean for that move to happen. You can clearly tell. I mean, I just missed my braking point. I didn't realize Sainz was going to pit that early. Sorry, brake that early. And we squeeze him out. No contact, though. It was hard but fair racing, in my opinion. As you can see from Carlos Sainz's nose cam, the move was on. Look at that. A bit of squeeze, no real contact. Sainz might not think that, but I mean, if you'd asked me if I wanted to plan that move, I'd say no. But it worked out, and we gained a position and 2 additional points in the in the championship.
Him to give me a position immediately, guys. He's gonna get a penalty, you know.
I don't know about that, Carlos, but I mean, now he has to fight Raikkonen, so I mean, that's going to help me further. P8 is ours, and now we're closing into the pack, led by Mick Schumacher. As you can see, that Haas is so slow, it's forming a train from him, Vettel, Tsunoda, Verstappen, and that's going to really slow the Red Bull down, and we could potentially get the move on Max Verstappen, and our car is faster than, no, it's about the same performance as Tsunoda, and by the time we pass both Red Bulls, both Red Bull drivers, Schumacher will be pretty much there. But Vettel, I mean, his mentor might prove a bit of a challenge as we try to get around Verstappen, but he's positioning his car so perfectly, and through these corners, even with the max downforce setup, our car is terrible. They clatter the curb and it upsets our racing line, and Verstappen is starting to pull away. So this train of cars is just tantalizingly close. I could feel it. The move is coming, but I just can't make it. As we go into turn 7, we're going to break down the inside, but the track is so slick, we almost run into the back of Yuki Tsunoda, into the wall, and Verstappen gets the move. We kind of give the position back because we would have made the move off track. I'm going to try it again onto lap 29 of this race. The rain is falling. We have limited laps to make the move for P4. It's so close, I can feel it. But this time, Verstappen shuts the door on us. No possibility for a dive bomb. And I'm not going to try the same move I did on Carlos Sainz through that corner because it's such a risky move, and Verstappen is too far ahead. Onto the penultimate lap, we're going to try the same move again, the same dive bomb into turn 7. We get a bit of understeer through that corner. We're going to brake a little later. We get off the gas. We almost run into Tsunoda again in an identical move. We almost hit the wall. We almost hit Verstappen, and I think that's it. We have to concede P8. So poor strategy call on our part that ruined the possibility for a good result on our part, and Verstappen is extending the gap. We get a track limits warning on the final lap because there's just no grip in these tires. I mean, I think I must have worn these out. These are from the all my intermediate sets I've run, so there's nothing you can do. Lewis Hamilton wins the Grand Prix, so he's starting to close the gap that Valtteri Bottas has to him in the championship as we go. But take a bow. Mick Schumacher, with the hard conditions and the hard overtaking possibility around Singapore, in the Haas, in the rain, he's gotten P4.
Yes!
You need to be on delta time. Nice work, buddy. You need to be minus on delta time. Come back to us.
Yes, guys. Yeah, but
Good driving. Let's go to the next one.
What an amazing result for Haas. I mean, they'll never get this. They couldn't have gotten this in 2021. Maybe in 2022. But hey, P8 we'll take. We got some points. Not the points we could have had. There was so much more that this race could have given us. But in the end, we're just going to have to concede. And Mick Schumacher, honest, that's impressive driving.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
And there we go, Lewis Hamilton on the top step once again for Mercedes. Valtteri Bottas in P2, and that's Sergio Perez in P3, which, that just makes it really frustrating because, again, if we had timed it right, if we had just stayed out on the medium tires in our first stint, we would maybe could potentially be where Mick Schumacher was in the end. Vettel being the absolute team mentor to the young German driver. I mean, look at that. From 20th on the grid, a 2021 Haas has got 12 points. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence. Schumacher finished best of the rest in that Haas. That is massively impressive. Like in real life and in the game, he needs a better car. Get him out of that Haas. If Haas don't provide the car for 2022, that's it. That's curtains. I'm sorry. That's it. He needs to leave that team. And in the end, it's so it's so frustrating that we weren't able to make up more positions, which is really showing on the strategy front there. But look, I mean, Williams in 14th. And Charles Leclerc did a good job. And, well, actually, Gasly didn't DNF. He just finished last. I'm surprised. I mean, that was a weird accident on Gasly's part. That could have ended so many ways. And, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's terrible. Anyways, Schumacher's behind us in the championship. Okay, we need to step up our game. That's it. I mean, one good result. And that shows just how vulnerable we are. Haas is 9th in the championship, ahead of Alfa Romeo and Williams. That is ridiculous. And, well, we're very far off of Alpine. Thankfully, both Alpines didn't score. So we're slowly starting to claw. We're making a gap to the Alpines. Unfortunately, Tsunoda's big points haul also means that P6 in the Constructors is further away from us than we want it to be. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe down below. Share the video, share the love, and I'll see you guys next time for Toyota's home Grand Prix, the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka. Should be a fun one. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Again, remember, life's a marathon, not a sprint, and make sure you're always in a position to win. I made a music video recently. Go check that out too. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.